Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, where today I thought we could take a look at a gas blowback DMR, and more specifically the Umarex HK416D. So, let's get it out of the way right off the bat. This is not actually produced by Umarex. Like quite a few of their products, it's actually been licensed out, and this is produced and manufactured by VFC. It's not alone in that fact either. Umarex actually produced another 416D under their license, which is made for them by KWA as well. Internally quite a lot different than this one. But that's not what we're here to talk about anyway. We're here to talk about this particular rifle. So what makes this a DMR? Well, it's worth pointing out as well that if you didn't want a DMR, we should backtrack a little bit. If you didn't actually want a DMR, VFC produced this 416 as a full-blown rifle as well, complete with full auto and everything else. But this particular DMR, as you can see, is equipped with the longer barrel. It has a tighter barrel as well at 605 for that little bit more accuracy, perhaps a little bit better with the gas as well. It is locked to single fire only, and VFC or Umarex claim that it produces a little bit higher FPS as well, which we will touch upon later when we go through the rifle. So, like I say, Umarex licensed, so synonymous with H&K at the minute, and it oozes quality right off the bat. I mean, I'm just holding it here like this. This thing is a rugged piece of meat, and you do feel quite manly holding this damn thing. But yeah, one-to-one licensed. It is basically, being a gas blowback, about as authentic a 416 as you will ever find in the airsoft market. It comes in black, but it does have a gunmetal grey barrel just to offset it a little bit. It's a nice little touch, not something you notice straight away, but something you do appreciate. It is essentially metal front to back. The only polymer you will find is to shroud the magazines, the pistol grip, and the stock at the rear as well. Other than that, you can rest assured that everything, internal, external, is quality metal. And yeah, it really does show in the feel and the weight of this beast. Yeah, you can't escape it. It is a beautiful bit of kit. Sticking to the externals for a little bit, obviously, again, being Umarex, H&K, trademarks absolutely everywhere, top to bottom. Yeah, there's not a thing on this rifle externally that you can argue with in terms of, you know, the final product you're going to get and how realistic it's going to feel when you're wielding it about on the airsoft field. So, let's talk, well, as always, let's go front to back and show you exactly what you get with this particular beauty of a rifle. So, starting off at the front, as always, we are presented with a birdcage flash hider, and underneath that flash hider is a 14mm counterclockwise thread. So as always, your tracers, suppressors, anything of that nature will have no trouble fitting on this at all. And while we're on the topic, may I just highly recommend the Ace Tech tracer the Spitfire for that authentic sort of flash at the end of the muzzle. The gas that escapes it is just enough. Realism at its best. It really is. I do love it. Like I say, coming back, gunmetal grey outer barrel, nice touch, just offsets the rest of the gun slightly, and inside you will find a 6.05 bore barrel. Does help with consistency of shots, even though the recoil on this can send you rattling, and you may have a little bit of trouble with follow-up shots, but that will be down to your own ability to sort of shoulder the rifle properly. It won't be down to the barrel. Like I say, gas efficiency is good and maintained with this tighter barrel. It does help the FPS creep a little bit higher than the standard rifle. We come back a little bit further. We won't delve too much into performance for now. Come back a little bit further and we find sling points either side, as you would on the real rifle. Like I say, everything's metal. You can absolutely 100% trust these. We get the quad rail synonymous with this particular rifle. Again, really, really nicely machined to a fantastic quality. There's not a lot to go on about in terms of this sort of stuff, because if you're looking for authenticity, if you're looking for the real deal, you're not going to find anything closer. Coming back, as I say, receivers all trademarked up. Really, really nice quality high finish to these things. The trigger is phenomenal. The brake on it, really, really nice. Fire controls internally, all metal. It just adds to the longevity of the rifle. Helps you service everything when you tear this thing down. It does ooze quality. I know I keep going on about stuff like that, but it really, really does. And you know you've bought something that's going to last and, you know, go through the test of time with a little bit of servicing, a little bit of care and maintenance. This is a rifle that could potentially last a lifetime with you. Pistol grip, again, authentic HK416 pistol grip. Actually, it might be closer to the 417. But suffice to say, really, really nice. You have this little window at the bottom you can turn, and if I could get purchase on it with my fingers, but I can't, you can actually pop this out. Oh, the magic of television, look at this. You can pop this out. You're going to have to trust me because I have no fingernails. But this should pop out. You can see how it actually locates inside the pistol grip there. You can see it pull through. I can't get it now with my fingers, without my fingernails, but it should pop out and reveal a little cubby hole in the back. You could put BBs in there, they'll rattle around. I would put some tactical sweeties in there to keep you going for the day, maybe. But yeah, come back. We have a buffer tube again. Being gas blowback, we do have a recoil mechanism in here, little spring, so you can't swap it over for AEG or anything like that. Although, why would you want to? It's a lovely piece of kit. Again, authentic H&K trademarked, stock at the rear, shoulders very, very nicely. I know this isn't to everyone's taste, but it is mine. I like things to look as real as they come. And this is really, really nice. Would I put 100% faith in the sling points at the rear on the stock? Probably not. They are polymer. Then they feel nice and strong. I don't know that I'd put 100% faith in them when you are talking about a very expensive £500 plus rifle that, although it's built very, very well, I wouldn't want to go dropping it around. And you wouldn't want to scuff it either, because it is really, really, really nice. So, let's get down to what I don't like about it. First off, the performance to a degree. This is sold as a DMR base platform. I think everyone appreciates that on its day, gas can perform just as well as an AEG. The problem is, here in the UK, you don't always get that day. and it is cold a lot of the time. It can be wet a lot of the time. Even on occasion, come February, it might even snow. And it's all going to just pull performance away from this rifle, unfortunately. As I say, it's stated when you purchase this rifle that it is close to 400 FPS, give or take, 10%, but 10% can be, 360. And that is unfortunately where I found this rifle to average. Not quite as bad as 360, but it has dipped on cold days as low as 365. But on average, I've only achieved, even on what I would deem to be quite a mild day, I've only ever actually achieved 375 as an average. Sometimes right at the start of a new magazine it'll spike closer to 400 for the first shot or two, but soon settles down and you sort of plateau at about 370, 375. That's slightly disappointing. I think when we all think DMR, we think to be pushing the limits of being a borderline sniper, but yeah, it's not to be with this particular gas. BlowBack, unfortunately, like I say, on its day, maybe if you were to tap the mags and turn it into HBA, sacrilege, I know, but you'd probably get that little bit more performance and consistency and be able to turn it up that little bit. But yeah, so a little bit disappointed with that. But my biggest, and it's a real problem, it is a bugbear for me, is the hop-up adjustment in this. It is a pig. It's an absolute pig. It's a grub screw, and I'll get some B-roll footage for you ready as well. But essentially, what we have to do to access any hop-up adjustment is push the body pin, and I'll do this for you now live. Look at this. Push the body pin. It will retain in the receiver, so you don't have to worry about losing it. Crack the rifle open as you would at the start of a service. Incidentally, if I was being a true professional, I would have removed the magazine by now, so I might have to edit this out, or I might leave it in just to show you what a complete moron I am at times. Look at this. So we remove the magazine. As I say, we crack the receiver, open her up, and you are going to have to remove the charging handle. Well, first of all, we have to remove the bolt carrier. That has to come free. You can actually leave the charging handle in. It won't get in the way of this particular process. But if I zoom in with the magic of TV, if I zoom in, you can see the BB loaded from the last time I used this. There was no gas in the magazine, I'll point that out as well. But you will see just below the barrel there, we have a small grub screw, or the hole for a grub screw, because the grub screw is quite deep in within that chamber. And that is the hop-up adjustment, which, as you can see, is not that easy to get to. And then once you've made a small incremental adjustment that you think you might be happy with, to actually test fire it, obviously we have to put the bolt carrier back in, slide that back in, put the charging handle in to allow that to get all the way down. We can then close the rifle back up, push the body pin back through, reinsert a mag, charge the handle, and find out that it's not adjusted enough, or it's adjusted too much, and then you can start the process all over again and do it again. And when you're still not happy with it, do it again. And then get paranoid that you're running out of gas, and perhaps you're losing performance and the BBs are dropping because the magazine isn't gassed enough, or maybe it's cold, and so you do it again. And then lo and behold, you get out on site and it's a bit windier than you anticipated, and you want to run heavier BBs, so you break it down again and you start adjusting it again. and then maybe you run out of those BBs and you have to go to an even higher weight, or heaven forbid an even lower weight, and you can do it all again and again, and it can become very, very tiresome, much like this segment of the video. But like I say, it's not the easiest thing in the world to adjust. It's not the most intuitive. There's no, because it's a grub screw, there's no form of incremental clicks. You're literally using the turn of the Allen key and judging purely based upon sort of half and quarter rotations and 1/8 rotations, and sort of dialing it in that way. And like I say, paranoia sets in that maybe your gas is cold and you're not getting the performance and blah blah blah. Where does that leave us? Well, it leaves us that this is not a rifle to be trifled with. This is very much, in my eyes, akin to something like my HTI, the SRS Silverback, with its grub screws, but that's obviously got twin grub screws that come down in a V. Those are a pain to set up, but arguably this makes those look like a walk in the park, because at least they're accessible from the exterior of the rifle, and you know, you can even leave 2 small Allen keys in the rifle, take a shot, make a small incremental adjustment to each, take another shot. You're not field stripping the rifle down every time you want to adjust your hop. So who is this rifle for then? This is very much the tool of a milsim, I would say. It's highly, highly realistic, externally, internally. Like I say, if you want as real a 416 as you're ever going to see, this is the rifle for you. No question about it at all. But magazines have 30 shots. You're totally limited by that. It is a DMR platform, so you should be, you know, have no trouble playing that sort of game and limiting yourself to shots. But it's not for everyone. It's not just a pick up and play rifle. It's not plug and play at all. This is very much for someone who enjoys every aspect of a milsim. The realism of how not only the gun looks, but the style of play you're going to have to adopt, and the time and effort you are going to have to pour into your rifle. Because, like I say, this isn't going to be an on-the-field adjustment, changing BB weights, you know, and just switching another notch on the hop-up adjuster just to get a little bit more travel. This is very much you are going to spend an hour of your day, probably even longer if you're that anally retentive about it, dialing this rifle in with a set brand and weight of BB that you will never exchange for anything else. It's going to be that sort of rifle that becomes synonymous with how you play. Your optics are going to be completely dialed in for it, and it's going to be set up and tuned and serviced and field stripped and loved, and you know, probably sleep right next to you in the bed at night, because you are going to love this thing more than your own children. So suffice to say, it's probably not actually a rifle for me, because I do like to swap and change my rifles pretty much every game day. I like to run something different, swap up the style of play. I'm lucky in that respect. Milsimming's probably not my thing, but yeah, if it is your thing, wow, this is the rifle for you. It really, really is. If, however, you're a bit more of a casual player like myself, take a bit of fun and then put the rifle away in a cupboard, it's definitely not. Absolutely not, because that hop up in there will just become the bane of your existence. And to be honest, like I say, I did spend half an hour dialing it in prior to a game day. It did turn out exactly as I said in the video earlier. it was much windier and I wanted to use a slightly heavier weight, and I just became paranoid throughout the whole day that I wasn't getting the best performance out of the rifle because it was dialed in for a BB at a slightly lighter weight, because I just wanted to sling it as far as possible, so with as much velocity as possible. But yeah, so I just became paranoid about it and ended up switching to something else 2/3 of the way through the day. So that would be my warning to you. That's going to be it for today, guys. I don't want to keep harping on about it. If it's been of any interest to you in a future purchase, maybe this is the milsim purchase for you, then as always, a like and a subscribe is always welcome. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you.